And Munaf, again, this is one that's an interesting take because we've got a guy who has taken the fantasy world by storm because he's coming in as a wide receiver, but IDP people love him too because he's going to be playing on the other side of the ball as well. Although you're questioning how much of either is he going to do?
So yeah, Travis Hunter, your Heisman Trophy winner. Haven't seen something like, or I should say something like this, but something of the caliber of a player like him since Dion playing both sides. Did Dion play both sides? I don't know if he did. I know he played multiple sports, but I guess he's starting into the Otani, we should say, of pitching and hitting. Is Otani there for the Dodgers? And now you have Travis Hunter that's going to play both sides of the football for this Jaguars team. So my question number one is going to be, how many snaps do we see him play on either side of the football? And that's, unfortunately, we don't have that answer right now because we saw what he was able to do in Colorado. Obviously, the game is different when you get to the NFL level. But with Travis Hunter, the guy's a freak of nature. And I think that it would be more beneficial, I think, for this Jaguars team for him to be on offense because Brian Thomas Jr. Came into his own last season, was absolutely fantastic. The market wasn't really accounting for his yardage prop week after week, and prop bettors were obviously just cashing in on his overs last season. And then you have De'Ami Brown. I think they're really going to. Parker Washington had flashes last season as well. Here, Rod, on fantasy relevancy. But I think that the more reliance is going to be on Travis Hunter because, again, he does have that speed. He has great hands. And if Trevor Lawrence can hit him between the numbers, I think that he has big play opportunity there. But, we'll see him play both sides of the football. But again, I think more importantly, I think they need him on the offensive side there. I mean, he's still going to get drafted. But I think the important part for him will be on the offensive side here.
Well, and you talked about in the beginning of the show how teams are building for the future. And this is a team that I quite literally is built for the future because if you look at all of the young talent that they have right now, and you put a guy like Travis Hunter out there as essentially the number one receiver, right? Munaf, I know you said Brian Thomas did his part, and we got De'Ami Brown in there as well, Parker Washington, who kind of fills in the back end there too. But like, there's no, I don't want to say headliner, but there's no headliner. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's
Yeah, yeah.
nobody that's like Stefon Diggs worthy. There's nobody that's Debo Samuel even of that stature. So you bring in Travis Hunter to be that de facto number one wide receiver for Trevor Lawrence. And I think you have to make his focus mainly on that, right? I know in preseason he's going to go out and he's going to play a little bit of both and he's going to wow the audiences with his skill there. But you don't need him defensively as much as you need him on offense. And you need this offense to compete in a division with the CJ Strouds of the world, right? I don't, maybe not so much with Tennessee or Indianapolis,
Yeah.
but at least if you want to compete for the division, you have to go through Houston and you got to have a good offense to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why they hired Liam Cohen as their head coach coming over from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we saw what Baker was able to do last season under his offensive game plan. Uh, so obviously they signed Trevor Lawrence on that big contract. It doesn't seem like he's going to go anywhere, but at some point, Rod, he's going to have to step up and be a above average quarterback in this league, especially with the amount of money that they are paying him. Right, he's going to get picked up in fantasy. Obviously, we know that, but I think there's also a question at the running back position, right? Travis Etienne, I think, had a great rookie season. There was a lot of love for Tank Bigsby last season. And I think, if you take a look at these guys' yards per carry numbers, I want to say Bigsby may be in the lead in that category there for this Jacksonville Jaguars team, at least from last season. So if Etienne is able to, really turn into a guy that, number one, doesn't fumble the football, is able to stay healthy, and is able to run the football effectively. If he's not able to do that, we could have a conversation that Tank Bigsby might be that number one running back. Right now on the depth chart, they do have Travis Etienne listed as the RB1, but I think you can make a case for Tank Bigsby because last season 766 rushing yards, 4.6 yards per carry. He had 7 rushing touchdowns. And you take a look at Etienne's numbers, 558 rushing yards, 3.7 yards per carry. He only had 2 rushing touchdowns. So there could be a conversation there, something for us to also keep an eye on.
Well, and this is really relevant, especially in this conversation, in that Tank Bigsby is actually going off overall 120 in standard leagues. He's going off 138 in PPR leagues, running back 41 in standard leagues, 43 in PPR. Travis Etienne, 88 overall in standard leagues, and then
That's surprising.
94th. Right? I mean, it's kind of a wide gap between those two, and just like you said, the yardage wise, Tank Bigsby actually had him by a couple hundred yards. I know there was a game in hand for Tank Bigsby, but that's still quite a bit to be up on him. And then TD wise, 7 touchdowns for Tank Bigsby to 2 for Travis Etienne. I mean, it's crazy to think that that's where we're at, right? Tank Bigsby's getting drafted a lot lower. He's a steal, and I think if you draft him in that last couple of picks range, you're getting a very good value on him.